Hello everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to the As Always podcast, the 10-year anniversary special. I'm one of your hosts, James, and I'm joined, as always, by Tyler.
As always, how's it going, my friend?
It's going pretty good. How you doing, man?
Doing very well. Excited to be here. I can't believe I can't believe it's been 10 years. Like, genuinely insane. So
10 fucking
super
years.
excited to be here. You know, I've imagined this for a long time and thought, I wonder what it'll be like, you know, at the 10-year anniversary, when we had the 2-year, when we had the 5-year.
Oof,
and
the
I first came over to the UK.
Holy shit.
You know
I
what
remember
I mean?
that. That was such a monumentous event.
It was 2 years of doing Kilconnor Club. It was a monumentous event. We did like a 4-hour podcast.
Where we had guests on. Yeah.
Like it was a big deal. And here we are, 10 years later. And it's just crazy that we're still here. Obviously, this isn't a regular show anymore, but we're here doing this. We're, still mates and can still connect and have an audience and have people watch. Obviously, it's not as much as it used to be, but people care. 10 years later,
it's nice.
People still care, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm keen to reminisce and discuss, what it's been like the last 10 years and where we were. And, I've got a couple. I wrote a Tyler list. Mm-hmm. I did. It just felt right. I've got a list. I remember I reckon I still have it somewhere, the old paper list book.
Oh my God.
Of the old topics of Kilconnor Club. And I'd take up a whole big A4 page and just write episode, and I'd just write topics every week. And then down the bottom, I'd write the timestamps and send that to you. And
that was so good. There was that was so funny when I found out that you wrote the list out physically
on paper,
because I just assumed you typed it out in your notes app or something.
Yeah.
But then one day,
man. I'm a paper guy.
Deep into the podcast, bro. I just found out you write it all down in this notebook, which was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know when I stopped. I can't remember when I stopped that. And I did start writing either a list down somewhere, or it might have been way late. I'm a big paper guy. I still have a paper diary and everything at work. I love paper, and writing things down physically. It just helps lock it in to my mind and feel properly organized. I have I run my life on my phone in terms of my calendar and my general life to-do list, but certain things I like to write down, and I feel better that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wild. And it's been the longest time since we've done this show, because obviously we've had 4 Pillars podcast reunions, and you and I have done Clubhouse, so it feels like we've done just you and I podcast. But the As Always podcast, the formerly Kilconnor Club podcast, that we haven't done since the end of 2022.
Yeah, December.
Almost 2 years ago, 18 months ago. Yeah, it's it's been a long time.
That's weird.
Yeah, think about that. That's the weirder part.
That is weird thinking about that. But also the weird thing is, towards the end of everything, and we talked about this, I think when we were wrapping everything up in 2022, was that this show, of all the shows we did, was the least favorite one by the end. It was. It was. Because Clubhouse was, Clubhouse is Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, I'd do Clubhouse the rest of my life. I just feel like you and I could do Clubhouse forever.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Yeah, and it's really just you and I catching up on and where we can get a bit more personal that we might not on the As Always podcast. Yeah,
and it's sort of fluid and it changes with us. Whereas As Always podcast is it was always quite a rigid format in the.
Yeah.
It was always a show that was aiming for something in particular.
Yeah. Topics. We would cover the latest.
Yeah, gaming, film,
in video games.
Interesting. That is interesting to think about.
And then we turned, spoiler cast and used the As Always sort of podcast to do that. We'd have guests on and interview them. We had think about the great guests we had over this show. It's crazy. The friends we made from it and the people we've talked to and connected with because of the As Always podcast. And it's a beautiful thing. It's crazy to think about, and it's crazy. This is episode 175.
Wow.
175. Because I hated that we finished the finale at 174. This might be the last one. You know what I mean? Because why would we do?
Or we have to do another 25.
That's the thing. Like, I didn't think about this. This is crazy. I'll try not to get emotional thinking about it, because this is just really hitting me. Like, when we did the final As Always podcast, I think I knew we were going to do more. And I think I knew, more than anything, I think I knew this was going to happen. Like, 10 years, we'll have to do something. Yeah. Maybe there were moments I didn't, and I just didn't cross my mind. But when it got close, and when I really thought about it, I said to you months ago, I messaged you and said we have to do something. And I don't even just want it to be like an As Always podcast. Like, we've got to do, like, a thing. We've got to make it feel like, even if it's just for a week, like it's the old days, where every day you could go on YouTube and you're going to get content from us.
Yeah.
Like, and us together and connected and doing stuff. And feeling like the Four Pillars community, you know, it's never going to die. You know, they were real friendships, they were real connections, and that's not even just with the four of us, but with a real community that we had. You know, some people came, some people went, but there is a core group of people that are genuinely like lifelong friends we've gained from it. Or just forever connected, whether they were people that maybe even didn't comment a lot or never commented. They just listened and felt connected to us, like they are a part of it too.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just wild to think that this might be the last one ever, because I know we'll do more Four Pillars, and I know we'll do more Clubhouse. Like, over time, we could do that. It might not be forever, but I don't think we'll know when the last Four Pillars podcast will be. I don't think we'll know when the last Clubhouse will be. Like, it'll just happen.
Yeah,
and
it'll
we'll
just happen,
You know what I mean? Like, we'll keep doing it until we just don't want to anymore. I don't think we'll ever have a moment where I'll be like, James, I know now I don't want to do it anymore, but let's do another one. Like, we just wouldn't do anymore. That would be the end of it.
Exactly, because it's like when we feel like it, we're like, oh, we should get together, do another podcast. But then, you know, eventually, like, it has to trail off and sort of be like, oh, yeah, this just kind of, we just stopped, you know? That just is sort of like a thing
I feel like
happen.
When kids happen, like, that'll probably be when it happens. I tell you what, though, to be fair, like, I don't think, it's not like we're ever not going to be friends. Like, I plan on traveling over to the UK for the rest of my life, every few years. It's not going to be every year, and there might even be times where it's like 5 years when kids come along and things like that. But, like, I'll always come over every few years and see you guys. So I feel like that'll never go.
Yeah.
So maybe I couldn't say that we'd never do a podcast, but because we might be fucking we might be 50 and do a podcast. We don't know.
There's no precedent for it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Because we're looking at it like, oh, well, this YouTube is like, this is like a young person. Like, eventually we're going to get old and stop, but then, like...
Well, it won't be on YouTube. It'll be somewhere else. Yeah,
right.
Well, to us.
But, like, in terms of, like, just general, like, online content creation, there is no precedent for what, like, when you age and keep getting older, like, what do you do? I guess you do keep... Because you think about, like, radio hosts or, like, you know, television presenters, and you're like, they keep going until they're super old, so I don't see why it wouldn't happen here, you know? I
just imagine us being, like, 50. Like, we've got kids, we've got a family, we're just in, like... a shed, like one of our houses sheds or something, to get away from the fucking kids because they're annoying as shit. And we're trying to record on whatever microphone, whatever setup we can muster, and film something. But like, it'll be on some random fucking social media platform, and then who would watch it? Who would know that we did it? You know, are we going to be posting it on Twitter or YouTube? Will that all still be there? Will Twitter still be there? Will it be, what form will it be in?
Who knows?
Like, I don't think, you know, like fucking David Bindis is going to stumble upon, you know, it's just a random member of the community to call out. Like, I don't think that is going to stumble upon, oh, Tyler and James did something in like 2052.
Depends.
You know, like,
it depends how powerful, like, the algorithm is for the thing. You know, you never know. It might, because, like, you look at the way that TikTok uses its algorithm, it's kind of fucking insane how clever that thing is. It's like the only social media I've ever seen that, like finds it's, like, it deeply understands you somehow. and then like feeds you the exact things you need or want to see. So I can only imagine in like years to come how social media will use algorithm to like
it'll just
find
scan your
things for
memories.
people.
Have you ever watched The Four Pillars? Here it is.
And then it'll serve you the stuff when we come back at 50 years old.
There'll be some people that just get mad too immediately. They're like, "Fuck off, algorithm! I hated them. I hated The Four Pillars." You know?
Oh man,
just good stuff like that. That would be funny.
That would be pretty funny.
But yeah, I guess the point is the As Always podcast. Like, I think this is probably, I can't say definitely, but this is probably the last one.
Yeah, right. And I mean, the thing is with this show is like the last proper episode of this show happened like a couple episodes ago. Like, because
yeah, I see what you're saying.
If we ever do another As Always, like we're never gonna sit down, talk about current events in the news and stuff again, because it's like, it just like eventually like we just got towards the end and they started being different. We did like our award show and stuff like that, and like, you know, we're sitting here now and catching up and reminiscing and whatever. But it's like, you know, that classic format of what was the Kill Connor Club is like, that's gone. Like, that's never gonna come back. We're never gonna do that again, because that'd be super weird to do like an episode like 20 years later and we're just like, right, so here's the new gaming news. That'd be fucking weird.
Yeah, it would be. It would be absolutely bizarre. The only way I could imagine it, do you know, here we go. This is crazy. This is a crazy way I can imagine it happening. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, the audience wouldn't be there, but it would be like a funny thing if we ever told like our kids about it. Like, let's say we had kids at a similar time, and we tell them about it, we're in person, and then we did an episode with like one of your kids, one of my kids. And then we passed it on, you know? And then they start some sort of online cross the world friendship. And then they host the As Always podcast into the future.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 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 That's the only way.
Yeah.
And I give that about a 1 in a million. So I would say this is the last one, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man.
But that's crazy to think all the things he covered and what this show did and what the show meant. Like, this show got big. Like, in I think as big as it could. Yeah. For a time. I mean, arguably, who knows? We could have been fucking huge. We could both not have to work. We could both just be doing this.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Who knows? Because
maybe
it blew up in 2020.
Yeah, you never know, really, do you? It's one of those things where it's like, if we'd have kept going and like really like just continue with the whole, you know, the business side of it, and like, you know, because we knew what we were doing. So it was like, I think really the only thing that held us back was not going harder on it, which by a certain point was like, we just didn't want to go harder with it. So
I think we both just got broken in 2021, bro. I honestly do. I think it just, our lives, the pandemic led to certain events happening in our lives totally separate to each other in our own worlds that just happened to strangely coincide. And I think we went through a big, you know, 2020 and 2021. And by the end of it, we were just like different people. Is the best way I can. I think we were. You and I changed so much in that time that we were just. We just didn't want the same things we wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I think
the truth.
That's the thing, really, isn't it? I think because when we started it, we were both on like exactly the same page in terms of like content creation. We were both doing the same things, interested in the exact same things. That's what like brought us together in the first place. And so when we worked together, it was like we were combining both of our like ambition and both of our like, I don't know, perspective that was quite similar to like build something and push it forward. But like you said, across like 2020, it I think it just like invited a lot of like introspection and reflection and like sort of figuring out where we were, what we were doing. And I think, in terms of like what we wanted to do, what we wanted to pursue, where we wanted to go, we both definitely went separate ways mentally from where we had been with like As Always in in 2020 was like the peak of it, really.
Yeah.
And then I think, from that point, 2021 was really like a rough year, and then we sort of like, sort of figured out what, it was time to sort of wrap things up. But, I think that I mean, I say 2020 was the peak. I don't know whether it was the peak, but like, at least it was like views wise. Like,
but I think that's what I mean. In viewership, it was the peak. I mean, if you ask me what the peak of it was, I mean, I think there was probably waves, but I think like 2016 was probably my favorite year.
17 was good too. 16,
and then
17. Yeah.
16, 17 era, like, was just, we were having the time of our lives with it.
Yeah. That was the most fun period, I think.
Yeah. And then 2018, 2019, I think was still pretty solid, and we were really enjoying the show. But I do think maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say, because I felt like 2019, me coming over, definitely rejuvenated things. I think that was definitely a high for me. Reinvigorated a lot. And I think that wave we rode into 2020, like when we changed the name to the As Always podcast, like that was really good for us.
I agree with you, because it was that, I think 2018 was like a bit of a lull after, because, we were still very much, it was a transitionary period. In terms of what we were making, because especially like for me, because it was like a big shake up from going from like, okay, I'm an Assassin's Creed focused channel to I really want to branch out and do other things. And so As Always, like, well, Kill Connor Club was really finding its footing too. And 2019 was sort of like the tail end of that, like sort of reinventing things, but then it was like reinvigorated by the meetup. Like you said, we rode that into 2020. And if COVID hadn't happened, then who knows? Like, we could have ridden that wave for longer. But I think COVID, made it sort of crash a little.
And I think the reason As Always worked, not just the show itself, but also like the company As Always and all the content we did, it worked because we were on the same page, and because when we went through changes, we went through a lot of changes together. And it was so funny how often I would be thinking about something that I was like, this just isn't right with the show, or this isn't the right direction. I'm having this idea, and I'd come to you, or you'd come to me, and we'd be like, dude, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I remember at the meetup, us going like, we have to change the name. I think it should be the As Always podcast. Like, I don't know who said it or what, but like, we had that conversation, and the other person goes, I was thinking the exact same thing. And that wasn't the first time that happened. We were like that the whole time, and I think we changed so much in our lives through that pandemic period, that we just two people that lived on the other side of the world going through the biggest change of our lives, there's no way we could have changed the same way. So I think that was just when we came back, we had our bond and we have our friendship. So that's what we just kept going. But it took a while for us to realize it's like a breakup in like a long-term relationship, and it wasn't like a bad one. It was just like like, I'm feeling this way about it, and you're like, yeah, I'm sort of feeling this way about it, and they were just different, and we just didn't want it the same, and we didn't want even to be doing or talking about the things we're talking about, and it's just weird looking back, because I don't think even when we're ending the show, we knew how to express that. Like this, we're in a fucking therapy session right now, because we haven't ever talked about this really. Like, I think we both know, like, we know each other well enough we don't need to say how we're feeling. We know how that person's sort of feeling about it. And I think that, I just think we both knew.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, like, looking back on it, I think, like, sort of, I don't know, I guess the direction that I've gone in since ending the podcast, I think it's pretty clear that, like, the podcast didn't, because the thing is, like, I never would have had a reason to be like, okay, it's time to wrap things up. I think if you were still, like, loving it and enjoying it, I think I would have just still been on the ride with you.
True.
Because I'm still, I'm still in this space doing the same thing. So to me, like, having a podcast, like, if you were still completely in it the same way, like, you were in, like,
we feed off each other's energy.
ago.
If I had that huge positive energy, you'd probably be feeling similar.
Yeah, because I had the way I shifted was just that, like, it was a shift like I'd done in the past, going from like 2016, 17 to 2018, 19 sort of thing. But I think looking back and like having stopped the show, I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't think there is room for As Always podcast as it was in what I do now. It just doesn't like make a lot of sense. And I think Horsey and Fox has really like sort of, I guess, adapted to that, and we haven't done a podcast in fucking ages, but I think like that, like, and I quite like that though with Horsey and Fox, is that, sometimes there's months between episodes, but then we get together, we do a fun episode, and it's like, it's not this rigid like business. It is just like a fun thing me and George do. And each episode is a bit different from the other. Like, we do different, topics and different things. And like some of the funnest ones we did was like the Halloween episode where we just read like fucking creepypastas, ghost stories. Like the Christmas episode where we had like a special little segment going over the fucking like goat thing that keeps getting burned down. It was great fun.
Well, it's your show that you just do for fun. Whereas I feel like As Always and the Four Pillars, it was a part of like our identities, and not just like as content creators, like as people.
Yeah.
And I think part of when you change in life as well was being like, I don't think that was, you saw that in your identity anymore the same way, and neither did I. I think, I just think, and we've gone through a lot with it, man. Like, we've gone through a lot. Like, we had, and still have such a great community of people that were watching us till the end. But we also had we had to deal with a lot of shit by being people that were very connected with our community. And looking back, it was just fucked that that had to happen, or that even was real life. Certain things that happened. Like, what? That's what?
Weird.
Like, it's not real. Like, none of it's real anyway. Like, just crazy.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Like, different things we went through, the ups, the downs. Like, we had a company full of people that didn't like us and actively told people to not listen to us.
Weird. It was very
we were shadow banned from like a video game community. We were like silent treatment, ugly stepchild, don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Like, that was real. From a fucking company. Not all the people within the company, but that was the general consensus. There were people that we can't name that didn't agree that worked in that company.
Yeah, true. It was, but I mean,
we had friends there.
There's not like, I mean, at least just speaking for myself, I suppose, like, I get it. Like, I get it to an extent. Like, when you look, like, I think, like, into the later years, it was weird that persisted. But when you look at, like, 2017, for example, I'm like, I get it. I get why they didn't like me. I get it. But...
maybe.
I
think we were just loud, boisterous, young guys. That had still have very strong opinions about things.
Yeah, right.
And we thought, myself included, that we could just do what we wanted, and that should just be looked over when it comes to, like, we are talking about like a video game like Assassin's Creed, and we're criticizing, or we're having an opinion, a strong opinion, rightly or wrongly, but we sort of thought that should be what you look at us for. And like, oh, just because you don't like us, you should still listen to what we're saying. And I don't know. And not that I don't know. I don't really remember so much of back then or what happened. And I feel like I didn't even know a lot of things that happened too. So you probably have a better memory than me, and you went through, obviously, I think probably a lot more in that regard than I did, but...
yeah, like, I mean, I was always a lot more involved than you were. You were always sort of like, even in the height of it, it was like, at the heights of it, I feel like the way I'm involved with things now is probably the way you were involved during the height of it. Whereas during the height
Yeah,
of it,
how much
I
better
was
is it?
so fucking involved in the height
Yeah.
of it. It was intoxicating, like suffocating how involved I was. So like I was always seeing these people
so
hated
crazy,
us, you know,
dude.
like from the AC
Yeah.
community and stuff, and
Yeah.
all of that stuff, and like getting involved in like Twitter arguments with fucking, you know, Ubisoft employees, multiple, not just employee,
like
multiple different ones. Like
Yeah.
I would get into arguments with Amar
Regularly.
like every other week.
Dude, Amar, bro.
Which is actually
so
fucking
funny.
hilarious when you think about it. Like,
Dude,
I'm
so
just like a
crazy.
fucking YouTuber, and I'm getting involved like in fucking like public arguments with the brand manager for Assassin's Creed on Twitter.
Dude, we got into a lot of Twitter
like
arguments,
throwing
bro.
insults at each
literally,
other. It's so funny.
Dude, that's crazy. But Twitter's so insanely massive now. Like,
Yeah.
back then, it was so, like, people don't know. It was so, like, nothing. It was so, like, contained. It's insane.
Yeah, it definitely
what it is.
feels super different. Like I think it's also like the way they've changed like the algorithm is like now Twitter has a For You page, so you're constantly exposed to like
everything.
loads of stuff that you like don't even want to see, that like
Where
you're
you
not,
would
you're not
only
following
see,
any
yeah,
of
true.
them,
You
you
were
know?
only seeing who you followed. So it
Exactly,
was this echo
so
chamber.
It was
and
way
the
more
bubble
contained,
broke.
yeah.
The bubble's totally broken.
Yeah, that is
I don't
true.
think it's some free, awesome open space, but like
No, it's
you know,
fucking
it's
horrendous.
but it's just like it's a mud pit now.
Yeah.
It's just a flowing puddle of mud.
And I
you
think
know?
like that's the
it's
thing.
not. It's not a beautiful clear ocean. It's a flowing.
No.
But
And like
muddy
the disputes we got into and the fights we got into on Twitter in like 2017 was like that's now just facilitated across Twitter. Like that's what the whole site is now about. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, let's just smash the walls
But
down
that was the
so
peak.
everyone
That
can
was
fight each other.
But to be fair, what was the best part of Twitter back in the day? Public arguments, and it's just now been monetized. Public arguments have now been monetized, and
Yeah.
it's what it is. It's let's just like
Yeah.
throw keyboard warriors in the ring and let them go at it.
Back in the day, we did it for fun. It was just pure passion.
Yeah,
I just love
yeah.
fighting with people
It
on
wasn't.
the internet.
Yeah. Oh, it's classic.
It was
So
great, and giving
fucking funny.
you and Ethan like a fucking heart attack every time I did something on Twitter.
Yeah.
That was
Dude,
funny.
I had some like I can only imagine what you went through. I had different times, like days where I was like completely anxiety induced from it, bro. Like
See, that's the thing.
genuinely.
I think I was just numb to it. Like nowadays, I get if I was to get into it, like if someone was to have an issue with me on like Twitter, that would give me anxiety now. I'd be like, I can't
That's
deal
what we
with
call
this.
trauma, buddy.
But yeah, it is.
trauma.
But back in 2017, I just didn't care. I was like, if people were mad, like, I mean, at least that's what I remember. Maybe I cared more than I remember, but in my memory, I didn't care. I was just like, I just.
I
thought
feel
it was
like
funny.
you cared, but you cared in a different way. Like you'd get annoyed.
Yeah.
You'd care, but like your response was, "Oh, that's so fucking annoying."
Yeah, and
What
that
an
would like
idiot.
fuel me on to like call them a name
going.
or
Yeah,
worse.
I thought you were gonna say something. That would got me on to call them.
Oh god. Oh god.
And then I'm like, what's he gonna say?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
No, dude, to be honest, that would have been, if you had said, like, the worst thing imaginable, might have been the hardest I ever laughed in my entire life. I would have been caught so off guard, I reckon I would have, like, hit the floor. I would have fallen off my chair. I would never have laughed harder in my life. You would hear me down the road, and we'd have to stop. It would be so funny, because I was not expecting it. But my heart, that's the trauma response. My heart just went, whoop, when you, like...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's
funny.
fucking funny.
Funny.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. I think, I think looking back, I don't even know. Like looking back, it was such a crazy time, such a crazy thing that like happened in our lives that now I don't think about. It feels like a fever dream, and different people, different time in our lives, different lives. It feels like.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've just sort of scrolled through the playlist to look at the topics we were talking about, you know?
Yeah.
In different years.
You can really see the shift when you look at 2022. Like, I think looking at that year,
Yeah.
like, scrolling through it, I'm like, you can see it feels different. There's a different. Maybe that's just because I know, but like, there definitely feels like a different vibe to it. Like as I'm scrolling through them and looking at them, I'm like, we talked about like the MCU is bad like every week. And then...
yeah, sorry, I'm on your playlist that sort of stops after it went to the network. I should go to the.
Oh yeah, I'm on the Four Pillars Network one.
That has everything. Oh, it does too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, playlist. Dude, I sound like shit. I sound like shit in that last episode. Oh, I see the things we were talking about. Yeah, definitely. Like, honestly, it was just... Yeah, that's a different time. Hey, you can see the shift.
It feels like a I don't know. It feels like a like I'm thinking about, because I'm looking at this one episode 169, which was Did Harry Spit? Which was a funny topic.
What?
But
did Harry? Oh,
do you remember
yes.
that controversy? That weird controversy.
I did. And he did spit. That we know. We know that he did.
Yeah, maybe
and
we
you're
do
a fucking
know that.
liar. And
maybe.
you're a fucking liar.
But I think that topic, like, that's like comparable to like when we went down the fucking Carson Caterino rabbit hole almost. Dude, like one of those weird esoteric topics.
That to me, that 2020 era when we were popping off.
That's what I mean. Like that Caterino episode was really fucking funny. Whereas episode 169, I'm like, it's a similar topic. Like where it's like, why are we talking about this on this podcast? Like that kind of makes it funny. But I don't remember that being...
cheated on everyone. James threatened by a real Templar. Like that. Oh
my god, it's an all-time classic.
Purity. That is pure unadulterated as always. Like that's that absolutely peak you and I content.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. That was a good one.
I can still hear myself from the highlight clip. You know? Like that, oh really? You know? That
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a funny.
Yeah.
But I can't even find the episode.
Funny.
Where the fuck
I can't believe
it? Oh, I found it.
That was probably my most cancelable episode.
You think?
Nah.
Why?
I think I was just acting like a real dickhead, but like that's also just like I was playing it up. You got to understand, so many of those podcasts, some of those arguments, like James, you and I enjoy arguing. We weren't really arguing. We were just like, maybe a couple times we were, but very rarely. We were just more like, we're two guys that enjoy yelling at each other, being loud. And it's just like a game. You know, it's like two dogs playing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's also why it was so fun to argue with people on Twitter. I just thought it was like fun. I just like...
Yeah, you and I didn't take it seriously because we argued with each other so aggressively, but man, people took it so personally.
Yeah, like
people don't like conflict. You and I love it. You and I love conflict. Love the shit. So I think people took us the wrong way as well. Definitely, we came across super aggressive,
like just
abrasive.
Mean. Whereas to me, I just thought it was like
arrogant.
Funny.
Yeah, me too. I was like, well, you're not taking us seriously. We're dickheads. But they did. They took us seriously. Yeah. And, you know, rightfully so. Within your right to.
Yeah, I think most people aren't like that, I guess. And I think I'm, like, aware of that now. So it's like back in the day, if someone said something that I thought was, like, a dumb thing to say, I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot, aren't you? Like, straight to them. I would just be like, you're a fucking idiot.
You're so dumb.
Like, but to me, like, that's funny because like I would say that to a mate and it would be funny, but but to them they're like, that's really mean, and it's like, I get why you would think that makes sense. But to me it was very funny,
dude. Oh, what a time. That's so crazy. But we were like, then we had Robert Gaming at 28,000 views. This is just YouTube, and it was going crazy on the podcast downloads, the Valhalla era, then the Ubisoft allegation episode. Dude, crazy.
The Ubisoft
crazy that
era.
Really happened, dude. Crazy. Crazy times. My Twitter DMs were wild in that during that era. Like, oh my god,
man, there's so many funny things that happened.
Yeah, not that was funny.
Okay, that's not funny.
That was funny.
What I was thinking of in my head was what happened because Ashraf was like one of the many, involved in that. Not one of the worst, to be fair.
And we'd said so many nice things about him publicly before that are on record. It's
really,
tough.
really rough. And you look back at the fucking because I never leaked the message that he sent me until like everything happened, and like over the years I've kind of been like, well, it doesn't matter anymore because I don't think he cares about that. You know what I mean? I also have like no. I don't know, like, obligation to be loyal, because it's like everyone's leaked him like cheating on his wife and manipulating his fucking position to get with Assassin's Creed fans. Fucking weirdo.
Dude, so weird to do that.
So I don't think he cares
such
that like
weird cunt.
I might leak that he messaged me saying Odyssey was a travesty or whatever it was.
I can't believe I was with you in person when he sent that. Literally, I slept in hard. I remember getting up and Elva was like so excited. She's like, Tyler, you've got to see what message James got. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
It was so good.
And you're like, dude, Ash wrote that shit, man.
I know.
Odyssey Broke me. And I was
so
like, oh my God.
good.
But yeah.
I remember telling
classic.
I remember telling Ethan when we went to the Brampton Hall as well.
Oh,
that was funny.
That afternoon. Yeah, that was funny. He was like, what? He was so shocked.
It was so good.
Funny. We laughed so much, though. We laughed so much. We felt so... We were like, bro, Valhalla's going to be the best. Astro's going to be so sick. It's the worst game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
Like,
we should have known when the allegations came out that he also lied to me about Valhalla as well.
Yeah. You're a victim too, James.
Yeah. I'd say a worse victim, personally.
Oh, we're still cunt steamed. Yeah.
Guys, that's a joke because it's obviously not true. That's the joke. I'm joking.
Oh,
guys. It's just a joke.
It's a joke. I'm joking. Dude, yeah, we were fucking on Valhalla's dick so hard before it came out. Like,
I know.
And truly, like, great man, Darby McDevitt.
I love Darby.
Was so heavily involved.
I still talk to Darby.
Do you really? I have not spoken to him since after Valhalla, and like it was tough because I was the loudest person about how bad it was. Easily the loudest person about how bad it was initially, right at the start. Like, I hated it. I fucking hated it. And I got so much shit for it, and I remember having to talk to Darby afterwards, and like, he didn't like take it as a personal, like, I don't like him because I don't like Valhalla. I could tell, though, that he wasn't my fan anymore.
It would upset you, wouldn't it? Like, you spend all this time working on something that you think is really good, and then someone shits on it, you're like, man, I don't like it. It makes me feel bad.
But I also am like, I don't believe that he thinks it's good. I think that's how I felt about it. I'm like, surely you know that something's wrong here. Surely you knew.
Yeah, I think the vibe I get is that I don't think he thinks it's a piece of shit.
The worst game I've ever played, bro.
I think he knows like that because I think when you know the effort that went into it, like you know the team, and you're like, wow, we really worked really hard on this. But I think he understands the flaws, and I think
if
that
you
were
to ask me what would I rather play, Valhalla or Odyssey, I would pick Odyssey.
That's just like what that's. I mean, it's a decision. I mean, you know, that's two piles of shit. So
yeah, but like Odyssey at least is like funny. Like at least I could like laugh at moments in Odyssey, whereas I just think Valhalla pisses me off. But Valhalla just pisses me off. It just makes me mad. Like, it's just shit. It's not funny. Whereas Odyssey's like comically bad. It's a different sort of bad. It's a different sort of bad. Objectively, it's the worst game of the two. But if like, what could I have fun today between the two? I would have more fun with Odyssey because I'd laugh. Yeah. Like there'd be dialogue and I'd like laugh.
I mean, I think that, see, for me, Valhalla might even be funnier because I think I would laugh every single time Eivor opened her mouth.
That's true.
Because me and George memed it to fuck. So now it's really funny.
Yeah.
I love it a lot.
But also Odyssey I could finish in about a third of the time that it would take me to finish Valhalla.
I mean, could you?
Yeah, easily. It was way shorter. It's like 150 fucking hours to finish Valhalla.
Well, I have 200 hours in Valhalla, and I played it twice. So, and I think I have like I forgot what it was. I think it's something like 300 hours in Odyssey, and I played it once, but that is with all the DLC. So
300 hours in Odyssey, bro.
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure I got every trophy in Odyssey in like 65 hours.
Well,
And I don't think I'm one that I never played any DLC in Odyssey. Did I?
Well, that makes
I didn't.
sense.
No, that I didn't.
I mean, there was a lot of DLC. There was like 3 parts for, the fucking Darius one, and then there was 3 parts for the Atlantis one. But there was also like free updates and shit. They put out like so much, like the one with the chicken and the unicorn that like runs off the cliff or something.
No, I never played any of them. I didn't even play that guy, first Hidden Blade guy.
Darius, yeah.
Never played that.
The blade of the first. The blade.
I do.
The first,
can I tell you something?
What is it called?
Can I tell you something? I do think the Assassin's Creed knowledge has like a lot of it's fallen out of my brain. Like I don't have it anymore. Yeah. Ezio trilogy, no, a little bit's gone, but like I don't remember. I reckon the majority of all the other games now.
I think
Black Flag, Unity, 3 maybe a little bit left, but Syndicate, I couldn't tell you anything about it really, or what even happened or how it ends.
Yeah, true.
Odyssey,
actually.
I don't really remember what happens in Odyssey. I could give you some vague cliff notes, but I don't remember characters' names or anything like that.
I remember Cassandra and Nikolaus. Marini.
Pythagoras, that's like about...
Yes, Pythagoras, classic man.
Origins... I don't remember what the villains' names were.
I remember Origins way better than
Bayek is in House of the Dragon.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
He's great in that too.
He's awesome. He was great. And he had a great monologue in the finale. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was so fucking good. He
was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Do you know, can I just tell you, because I'm just like such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. Well, I could, because I didn't do it. But couldn't help myself but think, because every Monday I had like a group of my friends around. There's like 5 to 10 of us that would come every Monday to my house. We'd watch House of the Dragon. Order pizzas, watch House of the Dragon on Mondays, because it comes out Sunday night in the US, but it'll be Sunday middle of the workday in Australia. So you'd come home, friends would come around, we'd watch House of the Dragon. There was probably 3 different episodes where I wanted to say out loud to my friends to brag and be like, almost had that guy on my podcast.
Several times.
DM'd once,
Yeah. Do you know how many? Actually, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly.
I do. No, I mean, didn't you almost have him as a guest on something at some point recently?
Yeah. I don't want to. I did. Yeah. Okay. I almost had him on Jazz Lounge like twice.
Yeah, I feel like I heard about this. But I don't know the story.
But there's no real story. It
just fell through.
Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah. I don't like. There's nothing like. I don't like. There's no. I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm not mad or anything. It's just how things work sometimes. To me, it's funny. Like, that's what it is. It's just funny that this has happened so many times. Like, I know he's probably busy, and he also probably doesn't care, which is, like, fine. Like, I don't care that much either. I just think it's funny that it keeps falling through.
Do you know what I thought? Can I tell you something that crossed my mind?
It's not that it falls through, though. It's...
No, you don't have to.
Like... No, because I just think it's funny. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm not mad about it. I'm not like, oh, this is so annoying. I can't believe that he would do this.
It just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen. Yeah, like he just.
I get it.
He just he'll be like, yeah, let's make it happen, dude. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Then nothing.
Then it doesn't happen.
Just nothing.
But also, okay. Do you know? Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something fucking hilarious? Because I'd heard about this, and when as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, it's a Bubaka. And then I crossed my mind, I'm like, James was supposed to have it on not that long ago. And do you know what my second thought was? Well, he's never getting him on now. I was like, it's never going to happen now. He's been on Game of Thrones, brother. He ain't ever coming on your shit.
True. Well, that's the weird thing, though, because the last time I spoke to him was after he'd been announced to be in House of the Dragon.
But now he's been in it. Like,
yeah, but
everyone's
obviously
seen it.
he'd been in it then. Okay, everyone's seen it. I guess
but everyone's
so,
seen
sure.
it now, bro. That's what it doesn't count. If you're not, you're not big, like he was mildly famous. He's famous now. He's on fucking Game of Thrones.
True.
Like millions and millions of people watch it. It's just the biggest show in the world.
I just wanted to talk to him about his new game because I thought it looked cool and he was super passionate about it. I thought it'd be an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that deep, but
yeah, it's not that deep.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry, brother. Ain't ever gonna happen now.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
Is right.
That's how it be sometimes.
That is how it be sometimes. He was probably the greatest almost guest. Darby would be my biggest missed guest that almost came on so many times, but ultimately just like he has to be approved to come on, and he was never going to get approved to come on. I truly believe he wanted to, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I truly believe it.
I think one day I am going to get him on Jazz Lounge. I do think that.
I think enough time has passed that you are forgotten. You're no threat.
No. Well,
there's a reason they didn't like us, and it's because we were a community threat to them.
The weird thing is, though, I feel like I have, like, because back then, we were just, like, kind of, like, just shouting about things. I feel like now I actually could, like, what I say has more impact than it did before. I feel like. Like, if I were to make a big critique on Mirage or Shadows, the reach that I have now... Yeah. And the way that I articulate what I'm saying is way bigger than it used to be in, like, when they hated it.
For half a second, I thought you just made up two names of games, and then I realized they were like real things.
Yeah. Classic. Mirage and Shadow. Shadow. I don't know which one it is, but that one. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You know, we've got Hex coming out soon. You excited for Hex?
What's Hex?
It's about witches.
Oh, like an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what the fuck
it's being written by Darby McDevitt, so it'll be either, like, really good or, like, complete shit. That's his spectrum now.
Shit. Complete shit. No, I'm joking, Darby. I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm kidding, too.
No.
I'm a Valhalla defender.
Yeah.
In a way.
You're a cuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the teat of the corporate dollar, you fuck. You know?
True.
Suckling at the teat of the corporate dollar now.
They paid
sponsors, please.
They paid me big bucks. They said, "Can you say Valhalla is good in your Black Flag video?" And I said, "Yeah, only for $10,000." And they said, "We'll give you a Starbucks subscription."
And they're like, "What video are you gonna put on?" You're like, "My AC Valhalla critique."
Oh man, they got off lucky that I didn't make that.
Yeah, dude, they did get off lucky. You didn't make. I wish you'd made it.
Yeah,
I wish you'd made it.
Yeah, if we hadn't ended up with, if the allegations hadn't happened, I would have made it.
If the allegations, not your allegations, their
not
allegations.
my allegations.
Yeah,
I have several allegations, but not those.
Not those. Different kinds.
Yeah, the Ubisoft allegations. If they hadn't happened, I would have made it, but because they happened, I didn't.
I think that I think you would have been, I don't know. I am sort of glad you didn't make it, looking back. I'm sort of glad. But part of me I just wish I could have seen it. Like, Odyssey Broke Me was huge. It was such a big moment.
Yeah. That video's not very good either.
I remember where I was when I watched it.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a Starbucks in New York. About to catch the subway out to the airport to come to the UK before the 5-year anniversary. Like, I was just needed a couple of hours to kill before my flight. Free Wi-Fi at Starbucks. I just had a coffee, sat there and watched Odyssey Broke Me and was like, oh fuck, this is a in our community. It felt like a moment, you know.
Yeah, well, it definitely was. It's, I mean, huge video. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. Not in terms of size, but in terms of, like, the reach that it got.
Yeah, and the impact I think in some ways it made.
Yeah, true.
It changed. It really was not the only, but a big change in public perception on Ubisoft. And people really being critical of them getting... It was like that moment that they keep getting away with this, the Jesse Pinkman meme. It's just like that, but it felt like we're screaming at a wall. Like, does no one get it? And then I felt like people started to wake the fuck up.
Yeah, I still see it. Like, if you see... this, I can't, like, stop saying it. It happened way more in the past, but I still see it now as, like, if you see a post about Odyssey somewhere and it gets a lot of traction... Odyssey Broke Me will be linked in the replies somewhere, at least once.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just really funny.
Yeah.
Just seeing that. It's so weird. It's, it's still a weird video, like a big milestone video for me, even though I don't love it anymore looking back at it. Like, I've watched it since, and I'm like, eh.
But it also changed the... Yeah, of course. But it also changed the way I felt like you did content as well.
Yeah.
It was a big impact for you. Yeah. But that's why. Like, you talk about impact. It didn't just impact the community. It impacted you and your direction.
Yeah.
In terms of the history of the 4 pillars, like, all of us.
Yeah. It was a big turning point for the stuff that I make. And it's... I'll always love it for that. I would love one day, hopefully, to do something bigger than it that reaches further, that sort of outdoes it.
I think you will.
Nice.
I don't think there's a doubt that that'll happen, but I think that it'll be in a different chapter. I think there'll be something that'll come up soon, and it won't necessarily be like you shift direction or something, but it'll be you become involved in it.
Yeah, I think it has to be, like, I think what made Odyssey Broke Me work so well is the deep investment I had in it. Like, just, like, the brand in general. And so, like, it came from a place where, like, I knew exactly what I was talking about. And I had such a history with it that, like, not only was it, like, a worthwhile, like, critique and, like, analysis and, like, exploration of how I felt, it also, I think it helped that it came from someone... like me, rather than just like someone random that's really good at doing that sort of video. I think that was a large part of what made it work too.
Yeah.
So it'll have to be something like that. I don't know. Final Fantasy VII, I'm coming for you next. I'm fucking coming for you.
I don't sort of get it. I sort of understand. Last time I heard you loved it so much, and now it's like your biggest hatred of your life. I just don't. I feel like I missed something major.
Yeah.
You were demanding I play it.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That was a
I'm sorry
mistake.
for that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
There's a reason
really
why
annoyed me. I got a lot of pressure to keep playing that game.
There's a reason it took you a year to finish, and it's because it's not very good. That's actually why.
It was good. I thought it was a really good game.
Was it?
I thought it was a really good
Was it not one of the most tedious games of all time? Well, not anymore. They've made another one, and it's worse. But,
God. Why? I don't understand why you hate it so much.
Just shit.
But why? Like, you loved it so much.
Yeah, I was wrong. I don't know.
But, like, what was there a moment? Did they do something?
I'd say what it was. It was revisiting. It was playing the original, but also then it's difficult to explain because, like, the context within which the remake of Final Fantasy VII exists is like within the so Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, and then across the 2000s they released a bunch of spin-offs and like a movie. And it's all just terrible stuff that like retcons everything and just changes things and add things on. It just makes it such a complete mess. And Final Fantasy VII, the original, is like, it's one of the biggest games ever made. It's huge. Everyone knows Final Fantasy VII. So, it's and the remake is just another one of those games. It's another game that just is made in the exact same sort of way, where it's just bullshit, but it has such a big budget now that it looks like this beautiful, shiny AAA game, but it's still like constructed and written like a compilation game from the mid-2000s. And those elements there, like once you get immersed in Final Fantasy VII stuff and you've played everything that came out of the Final Fantasy VII franchise, is when you start to see Remake for what it really is. And you start to like really absorb it in that way where you're like, oh,
it's meaningless?
And the reason why I loved the remake originally is because, first of all, it was my first time going through it, and so sort of like the mystery of like, oh, what's going to happen kept me going. And also the gameplay is fun. I do like the gameplay of Remake. Like combat, not all the gameplay, just the combat.
But also the dialogue, the art style, the music, the atmosphere, like it's a good experience.
I think to an extent, but it's difficult to explain. It's like, I'm trying to think. So everything I liked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, turns out that stuff was all from the original. It's all the stuff they ported directly over. All the stuff that I found interesting, like the relationship between Cloud and Tifa, the mystery of who is Cloud.
Tifa.
Tifa.
Okay. That's okay.
You know, there's a lot of stuff there from Remake that I loved was just the stuff from the original. Anything I had like issues with was like, I didn't care as much because I was just like along for the ride of like, I wonder what happens next.
Yeah.
But it turns out all of the stuff I had issues with was all just like brand new stuff they just threw in there. And when you play the original and you really like, when you like, I don't know how to explain it, when it really resonates with you and you just like understand it, and like, it's this game where like every single thing feels so premeditated and intentional and focused in this like just incredible way. And then you play the remake and it's kind of just like this like slop. It's just like this afterthought of like, yeah, it's kind of Final Fantasy VII, I guess. But like it's got so much random crap in there, and like they bloat it to an insane degree, and like the side quests suck, and like I don't know. But I think on top of that, like Remake I have my issues with, but Rebirth is a whole different. Like Rebirth makes Remake look like a masterpiece. Rebirth, I do not understand why everyone's like, this is one of the greatest games ever made. It's if Ubisoft released it, I would not bat an eye. It's exactly the kind of shit they'd release. I don't know what everyone's fucking talking about. It's like they added fucking viewpoints. Like you go to these viewpoints and it unlocks these random things all over the world. Like the side content is like there's different types. So like you go to a little pond and there is a crystal in the pond and you press triangle on it and a little triangle then pops up and a little ring will close in on the triangle, and then you click triangle when it closes in on it. You do that 3 times, you get a little crafting material, and there's like, I don't know, 200 of those all over the world. That's, cool content, I guess, for people.
Yeah.
And it's just like shit like that. Just like, it's just mindless slop. It's
and the story also just contradicts itself from what came before.
Oh my god, the story so far. Yeah, that's the thing, right? The story, if you compare it to the original, it's obviously a disaster. But even if you compare it to Remake, it's like not consistent with Remake. It's so fucking weird. It's such a bizarre game.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst game I've ever played, to be honest.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I genuinely think it is.
One of the last
I've never
proper
had that
games
sort of
I ever
experience
played or ever finished was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
It might be the last proper game I really probably ever finished in my gaming career.
Oh,
that's all over there. I mean, I'll play other things in the future. I've been playing Skyrim at the moment. Just when I have an hour or two, when I have some downtime, play a bit of Skyrim. Chuck it on, listen to a podcast in one earphone, pop on Skyrim, run around, have some fun. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good for the soul.
Okay. I want to say before we move on, with regards to Final Fantasy VII, because I know it can make people mad when I shit talk it. I'm really not trying to upset anybody. I'm just obviously passionate about it. Obviously I feel strongly about it. I'm not just like hating on it for the sake of hating on it. Well, I do enjoy doing that, but like that's not what I'm doing. I just find it hard to like articulate exactly how I feel like outside of like a in-depth video, which look, I'll do it when the third part is out, and then hopefully people can understand what I'm saying, and I don't know, hopefully. But yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I have so much trauma.
Yeah, it's okay, man. You'll be fine. Do people get upset at you anymore? Surely not.
They do well, that's the thing, right? They do with Final Fantasy, and that's a thing. My second channel, I became a Final Fantasy YouTuber for like a bit there. Like I gained a big Final Fantasy audience.
I did not know that.
And I went to Square Enix to play Rebirth early last year as well.
Did you?
Yeah, which was a weird experience. I definitely did not feel like I fit in with like the general sort of like content creation crowd. And
dude,
I think
they're
like
so fucking. Dude, how embarrassing are they, bro? So cringe, all of them for real life, just absolute fucking cringe.
Yeah, you said that, not me.
Oh, dude, no, I know. Let me tell you, hey, everyone watching, the people you watch suck. Like, they're just shit. Honestly, you mean I can't have a real fucking conversation with them. Sorry.
Yeah, it was really weird, and I don't think Square liked the video I made. I think I was being lenient. I don't think I was being super harsh or anything. It was like a critical analysis of everything, and everyone that watched it said it was a really good analysis, and that they really appreciated a video that was a bit more in depth and everything. But I think the reason that companies invite YouTubers out is not, they don't want critics. They don't want someone to critically analyze the thing. They just want hype bait for audiences. And I think when I didn't do that, they probably were like, oh shit, we didn't mean for this to happen. We just wanted someone to hype our game up to get sales. We didn't want someone to actually like look at it, properly.
Yeah. Well, I think those community like managers, a lot of them, especially these days, are like, they're not the trailblazers of the industry that got involved in the video game industry when it was smaller and fell into that sort of role within a company. Now they're people that like watched YouTubers and were fans and got involved in the video games industry and are a community manager now. They have some fucking, degree. They've gone to school. They're now in the company and they just want to be friends with YouTubers and they just want to, their job is to just get influencers, just get them out. Like,
it's a totally different vibe to like
they don't
what
get.
I do.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't, and they just think because, well, if we invite them to play the game, Ellie, how cool is that? I would have loved that.
Yeah,
and they
right.
Think, you know what I mean? They're like, I would have loved it.
And there's the thing, like
so
most,
cool. And it's like, yeah, you would, brain dead.
Okay.
I don't like.
They're fine.
I'm not involved in it, and I don't like any of them. I just want to say that. I just want to be honest.
That's fair.
I think you're all lame.
My opinions are my own.
Words that I'm not saying publicly. Anyway.
But no, I think it's.
I'm just alienating everybody if I can. If there's anyone left, you're all weird. No one that we interviewed though, or maybe some people we interviewed back in the day, but no one like that we were friends with.
Yeah, I think that it's just a different world. Like, I am not a YouTuber influencer. Like, that's not me. And so, like, being invited to one of those events was funny because, like, I was never going to make a video where I'm like, guys, I got invited to Square Enix and here's what I got to play. This game is so epic. Like, that was never going to happen.
Isn't it crazy that's 95% of content creators, though, that make, like, gaming videos?
It is.
It's so rare you find real, like, it's such a diamond in the rough where you have those channels that do those great, like yourself, video analysis, video essays, and they're really critical, but also like not up the arse. And like, you're not the only one. There's some other great ones that aren't even ones that we were necessarily involved with, but like, I think like what Colin's done with us, they're awesome. They're all awesome people,
and that's the thing.
They're legit awesome
because you don't just have to do what I do and write these scripted critiques to make something worthwhile for fans of video games. Like, I think video game fans in general deserve a better breed of content creator, and we're ending up with these creators that are just doing everything they can to get free shit nowadays. They're just like an extended like branch of video game marketing. They're not actually, they don't care about you. They don't care about the product. They don't care about it as art either. Exactly. But you look at like what Colin does, you look at Last Stand Media, and it's like those guys, they have, fucking like integrity.
Maddie, who'd been on and Colin both been on this podcast many times. They're such great guys, real integrity, like, and actually have something to fucking say, and they're real people. Like, they're not just like characters on a channel. And that like these people, like, here's the thing, they don't turn off the character, they live this fucking fake shit. But eventually, after, they can't pretend forever, and then eventually they completely go away. The reason Colin and Maddie have been around for so long and will be around for a long time is because they actually are just themselves. Where you have these people that they're around for a year or two, 3 years, but by the fourth year, you've been cancelled, you're here or there or everywhere because they were just playing a character and they can't fake it forever.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the contributions you get from people like, from the guys at Last Stand is like, they just do the general coverage and they have their podcasts and stuff, but like, they obviously care more about getting it right than they do about the perception and like about, you know, getting the free stuff and the invites. Like, you know, they always say like they don't do that, like they buy all their own stuff and everything. And it's like, that's commendable. That's what I like. I look at these like people that go to these gaming events and then they make their opinion pieces, and I've seen a bit of a pushback from people that watch them that are like, how can we trust you? You got invited to this big event, like how can we trust what you're saying? Like you've got all this like vlog footage of like, oh, I went to this Star Wars event, here's what I think of the new Star Wars game, and it's like, we can't trust you. Like totally. I would never, you know, that's the thing. Like, no,
100%.
Like I went to the Square Enix event because I thought it was a funny bit. And then obviously, you know, I have integrity, I have self-control, that's not going to sway me. Because also I don't want to go. I think like that's a big thing too, is I don't want it.
Well, you'd have to leave the house.
Like, you know? And it was horrendous. It was a horrendous day. But no, it's like, I don't want to go to a fucking game studio office. That sounds like the worst day ever, actually. I don't like, it's weird because I love
so
video
many people
games.
Are like, fuck you, I would love to go to, I'd be so grateful. I'd be like, you know, like they'd just be on the tit. Tit.
Like
you
are Square Enix are doing you a favor. They invited you and they let you play. I don't care. It doesn't mean a thing to me.
But they're kids. And like when we were like kids watching YouTubers, it sounded like the coolest shit all time.
Yeah,
but then when you're a grown up, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter at all.
I do not care about that shit. It doesn't bother me. Like, I didn't want their, you know,
if I got invited to like a video game studio, like I wouldn't tell my friends. Like if I went, like that's whereas like you're in high school, you're telling everyone, "Oh, Tyler went to blah blah blah. Oh my god, that's so cool." Was like I would like actively avoid bringing that up to my friends.
It's weird, like thinking about it, like because I love video games and I think that they deserve better. I think video games in general deserve better. Like I talked about this on my recent Patreon video about Remakes, which is available for everyone at the Lasers Vault tier. I do monthly videos. I talk about the way that when you look at the way people talk about film, people that are passionate about film, it's a way different vibe. Like you can get like deep with people, like you get in these like in-depth conversations about the way film is made. You appreciate the artistry behind it and all that stuff. And like, you know, the more you're into film, the better stuff you watch. Like it's just so it's like reinvigorating to have a conversation about film with someone. Yeah. Whereas video games, it's like people are dumb. Like you cannot. It's so difficult to get deep about video games, and it's so sad. It's such a shame.
Oh, it's the same. It's the same with MMA, bro. It's exactly.
Ollie
the same.
has said the same thing.
It's like just retards, bro. It's just absolute fucking retards. That like, oh, sorry, R words. Sorry, I've done it 2 podcasts in a row. You idiot, Tyler. You idiot.
It's so over for me.
You've got these just dumb people that just are so loud and have such a big opinion. And that so many people agree with, and you're just sitting there like, these people are actually mental. They're actually mental, you know? Like, it's crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy. Whereas...
I think it's like a shift, like it's a shift in perspective that needs to happen with regards to how you see certain things. Because I think most people will agree, movies are art. Like, I don't think that's not disputed. People think the same about music. Like, it's undisputed. Like, you literally call them artists. Like, you know, that's the thing. Yeah. Video games are too, but people don't engage with them as if they are. And I think the same goes
because people feel ownership over games more than they feel ownership over, and like people do feel ownership on some level over like an ongoing like television show or like a movie series that hasn't finished yet, that you have the expectation that it's got to be good or the sequel's got to be as good. Like there's a bit of that, but it's different with movies. It's different with shows. It's different with music, because you can be like, I don't like this band's new album, like they've changed, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, that's their art and that's their expression. Whereas with games, I think people have more ownership. They're like, it's my experience. Like they put themselves into it. Yeah. Way more. Yeah. So I think there is just it's a way different level of critique that you don't feel like, this isn't art. This is like me and my experience. It's about me, you know?
Yeah, I think a big help for discourse around video games would be to detach that part of it, because like you play something and like they give you choice and whatever sometimes, and you can express yourself within the game, which is a beautiful part of video games, is that like the game is the if it's a good game is like, well, I mean, even if it's a bad game, but you know what I mean, is like a game is the expression of the people that made it, but you are also able to express yourself in the game too. It's like this symbiotic relationship, which I think
that's
is
why
really,
people
really
can
cool.
enjoy games even when they're objectively bad games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because
like I've had great experiences in bad games because it's just, for whatever reason, it tickles me. You know what I mean? Like there's something about it that it just I like it. I enjoy it, but it doesn't mean like it's a good game as an art form.
For sure, and I think you can focus on like more specific elements of a game in a game, because it's like in a movie everything is way more focused. Whereas in a game, it's like, focus is good, but you can also separate the individual parts and be like, I really appreciate the artistry in, like, the graphical fidelity of something like Assassin's Creed Unity, where you're like, the atmosphere is, like, you know, can be wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's still a shit game, but like, I get it when you're walking around Paris, like when you just stand and you watch like a blacksmith in his shop or something, or like you observe like a small part of the world, you're like, that's, you know, there's beauty there. That's kind of wonderful that someone crafted that and made that. And so there's more way for you to like latch on to individual aspects, and then, but a lot of people can't articulate that, and so they just go, no, the game's sick, you're wrong, and then discourse is dead because that's such a boring fucking conversation.
Bro, I used to play so much like WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain in like 2002.
Yeah.
One of the greatest, most hours I've sunk into anything ever. Mm-hmm. Is that a great artistic game? No, it's just I want to fucking be Stone Cold Steve Austin and I want to give Triple H a stunner. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's why FIFA's so big, bro.
Yeah.
Why are these sports games so big every year? It's not about the art.
Yeah,
it's because people want to like pretend they're LeBron James, you know, in NBA 2K, or they want to pretend that they're Lionel Messi in FIFA.
Yeah,
like it's totally different. Video games are such an interesting, expansive medium because it's both art, but it's also not in some ways. Because I don't know, can you call a sports game art? Can you really?
I mean, I think technically it has to be. Like,
but like
technically it is.
Like, but I look at like, is it art or is it, when it comes to like FIFA, for example, the game's good, I think, based on whether it's technically good. Mm-hmm. Like they've developed, it's not buggy, it works. When I'm clicking this button, it goes to the player I'm trying to pass it to. It shoots the way I'm trying to shoot it. It works or it doesn't work. Like the sport's the sport. Like what parts are? Like the animation, like the movements, the graphics?
I would guess like, that, like the I guess there are components.
They're just trying to make it look like it looks like on TV. Is that art?
I mean, I think what it is that FIFA as a
it's not the same art as like God of War. Right?
No.
Like it can't be, you can't compare them.
It's not trying to convey a message, but the components of it are art, right? Like the you know, the designers that work on it, obviously, like it's, you know, they've studied it, like, you know, there is that component, but I guess like as a thing, it's not, I suppose. But I guess then like you look at film or television and it's like, you know, you look at a film like, I don't know, I'm trying to like Killers of the Flower Moon, right? That's like, that's very undisputably art. Whereas like She-Hulk is like,
well, I'm more thinking, look at like reality television, The Bachelor, Love Island.
True, okay, that's a good one,
Like, what is that art, bro, or is that like propaganda?
Oh man, it's such a weird conversation to have.
Is that brainwashing propaganda? You know, by like beauty industries, like what? You know, like
it's weird. Isn't it?
I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. She's never gonna watch this. My girlfriend bought this like or maybe it was a gift, I don't know. She got like this mirror thing recently, like holds up and it does this reflection where you have to go really close to it, and it's like having like a 0.5 on your face so you can like properly see the details on your face. And I'm like, but who makes that? It's some subsidiary company that's owned by a trustee that owns all the beauty product companies.
Yeah.
That you'll buy to cover up what you think's a flaw because the mirror they sold you shows it to you. You're not supposed to see your face that fucking close anyway. Like, no one's going to notice. Yeah. But they sell this mirror so that these poor ladies look at themselves and judge themselves and want to, like, think they have to, like, fix themselves somehow. So they're going to get, I think I've got a wrinkle here. Let's get Botox. Like, I hear some girls do in their 20s. They're getting fucking Botox. Like... Or you've got to get this makeup or this. And like, it's all the same fucking companies that own it. That'll sell you this to make you buy more of this. That you make you watch these shows like the Kardashians because they're trying to sell you this. You know? Like, is that art? True. I don't think that's art.
No.
Like, you've got to be able to... So there's got to be a category of game that isn't art. I don't think FIFA's art. I just don't. I think it is genuinely... It is pixels. It's technical. It's like... Is it good or is it not good?
I think there are degrees. There are like degrees of art. Because I think someone said this and I thought it was interesting.
It's a pretty broad spectrum.
You look at, like, if you look at, like, you know, you look at it like a carpenter that like hand carves like a really detailed ornate chair. And then like the question then arises of like, are chairs then art? Because that's art. And so it's like, you know, where do you draw that line? Because
I would say a bloke in his woodshed taking up carpentry as a hobby and making a chair, that is more art than like FIFA is to me.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
That's an individual's expression. Like, it is lessened.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's people on FIFA that think they're expressing themselves somehow in some way in their own self, but the person that's consuming what they make isn't feeling that expression in the same way you've put into the game because you animated this thing into it or you added this sound to it. Maybe to you feel like you're displaying your artistry by choosing a certain direction you take as the maker, but is anyone really experiencing anything drastic of that? I don't know. I just think it's a way lesser scale than someone making a fucking chair in their shed, to be honest.
I think a way of looking at it is that art is not the object, it's the interaction with the expression that comes with it.
I agree.
So it's like, you know, it's... Yeah. If there is an experience to be had, an expression that is within it, and you interact with that, that's the art. It's not the thing itself existing in a vacuum. It's the interaction with it. Because like you've got like who was there? There was that woman or something. About this shit?
Honestly, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
There was this woman who had like, she spent her whole life like photographing things, and they're gorgeous, like beautiful photographs, but she never put them anywhere and never showed anyone, and they just existed in a box. And after she died, people found them, and they've now like been published and shown. And like that was art, but it doesn't exist as art until we observe it.
Wow.
So,
but it was art to the person that took them.
Yeah, it was.
So it was always art.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in term, there's the person that's making the art. That's an expression of art themselves. But it doesn't. I guess, like, you're right. It's just, once it's gone, it's gone. If it's never seen, it's no longer. Is it stopped being art at that point? That's another deeper question.
Yeah, it's a hugely very like, it's very subjective. And like up for interpretation, but I also think like ultimately as well, like I don't think that something has to be good to be art either. Like the measure of like something's quality, like, you know, like it's because something can be an expression. It just you're just like, this was not good though, it was bad. But if the person was deeply passionate about it and they just made a bad thing, it's like, it's still art. It's just bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, wow. What a deep conversation. What a random conversation to get into.
This is...
took a lot of twists and turns. I did have an idea for you, James.
Okay.
This is a big pivot. But just funny to go from a conversation like we've just had, super interesting conversation, I love that, to I want us to watch and listen to the first 5 to 10 minutes of the first episode 10 years ago. Okay. I just want us, and we can put in the episode because it'll be funny for people listening back to also watch along. Maybe they haven't seen it. There's people that are going to listen to this and never heard this.
Yeah, true. That's a really good point.
Listen. This is the first. This is also the first time you and I have ever spoken on like a call. Some Twitter messages was about all we'd ever spoken. So it was like it's been 10 years of also friendship for you and I.
And the weird thing is for it, there's a delay on it. Because I didn't realize I'd like added a 1,000 millisecond delay or something to the stream until afterwards. I listened back and I was like, "Fuck! I forgot to change the setting." Wow! So there's a weird delay, and it sounds really fucking funny. Like my mic is delayed, but you and Joe are like normal time. How do I?
And people also don't know there was a third person on this. The Game and Cheap Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, was a part of the first stream and a couple of the early episodes, and he was he was one of the co-hosts for a couple, like very early, first couple of months, but then went off. Funny.
I can't find it.
So 10 years, so many iterations of what this stream was, which was like episode 0. It was a live stream Q&A. It wasn't even a podcast.
Why can't I find it? I'm searching it, and I just cannot find it. What the fuck is it called?
Assassin's Creed Unity discussion Q&A with Dynamite and the Game and Cheap, in brackets, Birth of Kill Connor Club.
Birth of Kill Connor Club, maybe I'll get it. No, that's fucking crazy. I literally cannot find it. Is it unlisted?
We're Shadowbanned, bro. Oh yeah, you unlisted everything. It's only in the playlists. You unlisted everything. I assume because you're embarrassed of me. You fuck.
Yeah, that actually is it. I wasn't going to say that, but you just hit the nail on the head there. So.
Yeah. Dude, I remember how buzzed we were after this. Had just the best time on this live stream.
It was so fucking fun.
And then the next day, we were like the 5th video when you search Assassin's Creed on YouTube, and we were like, oh my God. It was the first time I felt like I'd done anything while making content. This was the first, like, wow, this is actually real, a tangible. I felt like I could see it. Like I'd had those moments where you'd had a video that got lots of views, or at the time thought it was a lot of views, but this was the real, like, oh, this is real. Man. There's other people here.
I just accidentally clicked on the Desmond's son discussion as well by mistake.
Tough.
And listening to it, I'm like, God, it was just such a different time. We were just like, I don't even know how to explain how it felt.
We were innocent. We were so innocent.
It was just fun. There was absolutely nothing but fun. There was no like worries or anything. It was just fun. We were just like sitting talking about Assassin's Creed.
You hear purity in our voice, don't you? You can hear it. You can hear the purity. You can hear the innocence. And the truth is, we've dealt with trauma and broken people. We're broken now. We're forever broken in some way, shape, or form.
And I think as well, the weird thing is, like, back then, I think like sometimes like the fact that I keep making better things raises my standards, and it puts more pressure on myself that I can't control, and it's really stressful sometimes. So, and I would love to just be able to do what I did back then sometimes and be like, man, it would be so cool to just like videos. Turn on the mic, talk some shit, and feel completely okay with posting that on my channel.
How crazy is that? You would just like have some gameplay, chat some shit. There'd be ums and ahs everywhere, off the cuff. You'd just say things that were just wrong, and you knew they were wrong. I mean, not like BPR level, like wrong, like just mental. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely crazy.
Not just straight up like lying, fabricating information. Guys, there's going to be improved grass, guys, in this game. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
It's going to be everything, guys. Improved combat, improved grass.
Shout out to BPR. Great guy. We love it.
He's still doing stuff. He's on TikTok now. He's getting like hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok.
Oh, I love that for him. Love that.
Crazy.
Good for him. That's good stuff. Good for the soul.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shall we have a listen? Like first maybe 5 minutes, and then people can listen. To what we sounded like 10 years ago.
For this fucking delay, I hate it.
Okay. Do you want to do the count-in?
Yeah, let's go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bro, I guess I could just start right now. Start streaming. Oh my god, it's the first time I've ever been on
Is it? Okay, it should be. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Not welcome back, but welcome. So here, this is a stream we're doing. Obviously, you guys know me, but I'm joined by AC Follower.
Hello.
If you want to say hi, there we go. And the
you
Game
want-
Lead.
If you want to say hi, we
about
both already said
Assassin's
hi.
Creed, all that kind of stuff, and you guys
Such
can
a
comment,
delay.
give us your
Nobody said.
opinions on stuff, ask some questions, and we're gonna. Yeah, so I just want to explain something.
can't
here.
believe
So I
this was
gonna
the
play
whole
Assassin's
time.
Creed 3, but apparently, so it started right at the very end of the game. So I couldn't go through all the credits again. So I went through Brotherhood, Revelations, and they were all the
Bro,
same.
you sound
so I've got to
terrible.
play AC2. So yeah, yeah, cool.
I think I sound happy.
So, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Oh, are we going on the stream? Because people are asking.
Dude,
saying it's
Your
just starting
accent
soon.
is so weird.
It should load itself
Yeah,
up
oh,
soon.
fantastic.
Just give
For
it
me
a
now.
minute.
I can see.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's going up.
What?
I'm
Is
just
my
terrible
voice
with
somehow
technology, I
deeper?
guess.
At 18 years of
Yeah.
age.
What's this? I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch because I don't have the right Adobe Flash player on my Xbox.
I was 18 at this time. How old were you?
17?
17?
I don't think it's watching on
16?
Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that's not going to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I don't-
Dude,
You
I
can't
was
hear me, can
like
I?
18, about to turn 19.
20 seconds late. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I apologize completely. I need everyone to make sure help me out with the audio and stuff. Tell me if it's all in sync and everything. 'Cause sometimes it's a mess. And sometimes it works.
Even
Nobody told me.
Nobody
Okay,
told
so
me.
anyways,
Yeah, that's
once I've got
crazy.
that
A
sorted out, how do I
3-hour
get
stream.
30
nearly.
wait 301,000
No.
florins?
Dude,
I don't
we had
know.
no plan.
Theft,
What is this?
maybe?
Probably
I was
running around
so
doing all the
nervous.
feathers and stuff,
I
I guess.
Yeah, doing all the feathers, doing all the side quests. See, I think I completed this. Hang on, what's my completion on this? I don't know if
Dude,
there's a way of checking.
Why did I not even have
DNA?
Yeah, I'd say
notes
so. That
at
would
all?
probably work.
Because you were hosting this stream.
Yeah.
All the viewpoints,
turned
secret
on
locations, you had to
The
do all
game,
those.
and I'm just like, something will
100
maybe
100
come of
feathers.
this.
Yeah.
Beat up events.
Ooh.
I didn't do all the treasures. I don't know. I'm sure.
I
I don't
think
remember
there's
doing
a-
all these.
It
I
must
think
have
there's
taken us
a- Maybe
ages
it
to
did.
get into it.
I think there's a
Um,
moment where you take control and
Although I
you
think the
start being
voices
like,
are out
right,
of
so let's
sync.
talk about Unity and sort of take it in a
No.
direction.
Oh,
Dude,
Let me have a look here.
classic. Even then, I was
I
still
know.
fucking.
I know how to fix this. Completion on this.
Getting
I
things
don't know
on
if there's a
track.
way of checking. I think the DNA.
This is
Yeah,
a
I'd say
mess.
so. That would.
Oh, it sounds in sync to me. Sounds all good.
Yeah.
Like,
what are people saying?
Oh no.
comments is just too many funny. I agree.
Oh, look at that.
What a
Xbox
what a
360.
pop up! What a pop up!
Oh god, they don't make them like that
The
anymore.
voices aren't in sync to
No.
me. So I'm not sure what's about. I'm gonna go to Florence.
Someone's trying to tell you, and you're not listening to them. Someone
I
is trying to
know.
tell you it's out of sync. You're like,
Fucking hell.
nah, bro.
First
I
question:
know.
Can you
You don't know.
mix up other assassins' outfits like Ezio and Connor? Does it mean in
I
Uni?
think it's Unity, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
you
think
can't.
they're
It's like they're like the set costume thing at the bottom, where it's like outfits, and then it's like a full set outfit. It's kind of like avatar items, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Hang on a minute, it's like avatar items. What?
This is awesome.
Um,
this is
yeah,
so
that's not what I
good.
meant. Anyway,
This is
what were you
awesome.
gonna say?
I love.
Because I've heard that all the outfits from the past characters, they're all going to be in Unity, aren't they? I'm not 100% sure though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What is my accent?
I think there was a
Yeah, it sounds weird, doesn't it? It's like really subdued.
for copyright, but it had like. There was
I just didn't have my
Edward,
confidence I had
Ezio
now.
was there, and then there was
Yeah.
a few others
Okay.
on there as well that I didn't actually recognize.
But not just like even on the microphone, but also just as a human being.
Black Violet.
You know, I was
Yeah.
fucking
I
18.
think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'd say it's similar to that.
Do I sound more Australian
Any of
or
you
less
actually
Australian?
wear the other
You sound-
assassin characters' outfits in
I can't
don't-
tell whether I sound less or more.
Yeah.
I think
do
it's
sometimes.
more, but like
Like, I won't-
because
if I'm
your
playing the
accent
main
now
story, then I
over
won't
the years has
just,
become
wear,
very
if I'm just, like, doing
distinct.
side quests and stuff,
Whereas I
sometimes
think here you just sound like a
No.
regular, like just Australian
most of
bloke.
the time I
Yeah,
don't.
I'll give it
Ah.
a try, but at the same time, I always feel like I'm cheating. Like this isn't. Their
I do.
world,
I
so
just
they should
sound
be
like
wearing
any
it kind of thing.
Australian in this, don't I?
Yeah.
I do have a distinct voice, don't I?
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah,
It
you
feels
definitely
like I'm
do.
playing a game, like as opposed to sort of being.
I mean, my accent's
I don't know what
fucked
it is.
now. I don't know what happened to
we
me.
I think we both
So,
fucked
do
each
you
other's
think AC Unity will
accents
be
up.
any longer?
Well, think about how often we spent talking to each other. How many hours a week we were talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like if
yeah.
it's like I socialize conversation with you as much as anybody in my life. We had to
do you
influence.
think it's called?
Oh, it's got a fucking ad.
pre-order
Let's
the
try the
jam
editing.
for
There you go.
Okay, well that's the first 5 minutes there,
Yeah, that's wow.
dude. That was terrible. That was 10
Yeah,
years
that's
ago.
actually really bad.
That was 10 years ago. There was nothing going on. What were we doing?
Yeah. Wow. My God. There was something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was.
Oh,
Hold on
really?
a sec. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. It's interesting listening to us talk to each other before we'd influenced each other. Because as we did it over
true.
time, we became way more in sync. And, like, you know, we sort of, like, fed off each other and, like, sort of developed together as we made stuff. But
Yeah.
listening to this is weird. Listening to both of us, we're both individual, like separate, because we've never
Yeah.
spoken to each other before. So it's
Yeah,
weird
true.
listening to that, and it's like we have a different, like almost like different, like sense of humor, and like I don't know. I just
we were
feel
still
like,
trying to work
you
each
know,
other out in conversation. Like I wasn't comfortable even just like saying anything to you.
Yeah,
I was sort of like awkwardly like, do I jump in? Do I say something? Or answer this question on the stream? Or do like I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah. I mean, it's
And
weird
it-
because I'd never done anything like this before, so it was weird that I feel like listening to it, I'm like, it sounds like I'm pretty confident, but I was probably like nervous as fuck.
Yeah, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous. Because I'd never done anything like this. I'd never done a live stream. I never chatted to people online like through YouTube and stuff. And
Yeah,
I was definitely nervous. And now, even after heaps of time where we're off not doing podcasts together, it's like we haven't missed a day. I feel like
Yeah.
when you and I get on, like we have that connection even now.
Yeah,
Even when
for
we have
sure.
time off, we can just jump back on, go for
Yeah.
it.
It feels
We-
good.
we've
I
got-
think, like, honestly, it's been like super. I didn't realize, like, I don't want to say this in like a way where I'm like, oh, I feel empty without it, but I do think I didn't realize how much I've missed doing this until we got back together and we started doing this, like Clubhouse. We got this, we got like other recordings, like editing the vlog was really fun, and also like getting back
Yeah.
together to do 4 Pillars. It was like, I don't know. I feel like I really needed it.
Like this, us doing all this stuff for this week.
Yeah, I like doing it. I felt like holy shit. I don't know, and maybe it's because I was like mid big project, so
Yeah.
I'd like really isolated myself for a bit because I do that when I'm working when I'm deep into like a big project. It's like I'm just super focused, just like getting
Yeah.
it done. So I think like I don't know. This has just been really good. I've really enjoyed this whole thing. I think it's been super. I don't know, good for my brain, and it's it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I'm with you. I mean, half of me is like, oh, I've got to stay up late. Oh, I've got to like,
No,
just
yeah,
old
like I've got to
man
get up.
things. I've got to like get up. Oh, I've got to do this thing. Like it's more things to do in my
Yeah,
17
yeah.
jobs. You thought I had 7 jobs back then? I have like 17 now.
Yeah.
I have no time. But it's been awesome. And like jumping on is just always so much fun. And it's a lot easier, and I can say this respectfully, it's so much easier with just you.
Yeah.
When it's the 4 Pillars, we have technical difficulties. There's 4 of us. It is just a lot more of a clusterfuck. Like I love the 4 Pillars podcast, and we'll always do reunions here and there. But like when it's just you and me, I can just be like, oh sweet, as always.
Yeah,
It's easy.
yeah. Well,
Easy,
working
easy,
together
easy.
for as long as we did, we got into such a rhythm that like it's so easy to get back into that rhythm. Straight away.
100%.
It's literally like riding a bike.
Yeah,
It's just like you get right back on. It's
10 years.
that's
10 years.
That's obscene.
But like this, looking back, I like what is 10 years? Like, do I feel like that's longer than 10 years ago, or do I feel like that's shorter than 10 years ago? I don't know. It feels like
Yeah,
forever ago.
that's
it
a
feels
good
like
question.
an eternity ago. What is that? What was that we just watched?
Yeah, I'm like I do not remember being. I
That was
just
the
a kid.
birth of
Like-
this. That whole first 5 minutes was the beginning of what this is. What this became. 10 years of this. Our friendships. Ethan, George, all our friends like that we made
So
that were in the
weird.
community, all the guests we had on from like the Eddie and Sheps, the Collins, the Maddies, the Robin Gamings, the Bretts, I'm sure I'm missing, like there's so many really pivotal ones throughout our history. Some crap ones, like some ones that you're like, oh boy, you know, like let's delete that episode.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just funny. It's just such a history of like, really, it's a chronicle of who we were deep down. Like, you want to talk about art? You could call this whole podcast the art of like who we are, like, because you could look under the subtext of who we were through us talking about a video game or a movie, or how we critiqued something, how we talked about something, or how we talked about each other or ourselves. Like, you could see the subtext in all these episodes.
Yeah,
some more than others when we're straight up talking about it, and others when we're just talking about a subject.
Yeah, it's an archive of personal growth through the lens of media and art discussion. Mainly Assassin's Creed, but like, you know,
Dude.
all of it too.
I'm just shocked we haven't talked about Assassin's Creed, really. Like, other than, like, Odyssey broke me. You know, it's been very minimal. It's been nice. It's been great.
Yeah, that's true. Do you know what? One of the best things we ever did, and I revisit this video sometimes, is when we ranked the Ezio Trilogy tombs. That random off-the-cuff thing. I go back and I watch that sometimes, because I just think it's really fucking funny. I think it was just really, I don't know, it's just this weird, like I think it's
thing we did.
Yeah, it's almost like, for me, like, I'm almost watching it like as a fan. I'm like, man, it's so cool to listen to us just like talk really in depth about Assassin's Creed again. It feels like a throwback, but also I think it was like I think I did a good job editing it, and I don't know, it's a good bit. Like, I like it. I think it's really fun.
It was in an era where we had the ability to make the videos actually good long term, and we were good at speaking about it, but we had the energy like it was old day us, where we like cared and gave a shit about Assassin's Creed. It's funny that. And now there's like some game I've never fucking heard of coming out that's about Assassin's Creed apparently, or that has Assassin's Creed in the title. I don't really know what they're about. And it's the Ezio trilogy is but a memory, you know?
But a
like those days, like I remember the first time putting all those games into the fucking Xbox and playing them. Like, crazy.
I remember it all too.
Getting home from school, being like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be studying for exam, but Revelations just came out.
Yeah.
Like, I have to play it.
It was good fucking times.
Good times, mate. Good, just great stuff.
True,
and
it was.
Look, it led us to make content. It led us to that, you know, thing we just watched. And then 10 years later to right now. Mate, it's been awesome. It's been such an amazing thing to do. And I'm super grateful for you. And, you know, I know we're going to keep doing stuff together and be a part of each other's lives for, you know, until
no doubt.
Probably you die before me.
That's way more likely to happen soon.
Yes, and soon. Like, not even like that far away. Like,
I can see it. I can see the foreseeable. Well, closer to us probably than this video we just watched was. So, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah,
God, so
that'll
bad.
be sick.
I hope that's not the case, and then this ages really poorly. Like, I laugh now because it's
that
awesome,
would make it
like,
funnier, actually.
But then I look back on this one day, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? He actually died. And now it's even worse because I'm saying this.
Oh,
anyway.
It'd be so funny if I died by mistake. That'd be funnier, I think.
Yeah, that would really piss me off, actually, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I joke all this time about killing myself, and I just a complete accident.
Yeah.
Just complete mistake.
And it's just something's really fucking lame too. Like you tripped, you know, and hit your head or something. And it's like,
I hit my head on like a corner of the pavement a bit wrong, and I die.
Yeah, well, if you hadn't gone outside in so long, if you got to like walk, just trip and fall.
Yeah,
you know?
I do often forget how to walk.
Sometimes you forget how to breathe. People don't know this, but sometimes
sometimes I have to I sometimes go on a respirator. It does it for me.
That was absolutely. Yeah, that was, 2021. What was that? Well, it was actually James had a real issue forgetting how to breathe. So
oh man, fucking Christ!
Good stuff. Sometimes I just catch myself and I'm like, you shouldn't say this, but then I say it anyway.
Classic vintage.
Nah, that's a vintage moment.
That was
Vintage
a
is
bit for a while. Like we used to say classic a lot, and then it went to vintage, and then ancient gamers. That's classic.
The ancient gamers, and and then
Yeah.
people would just like say it at me online a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
people just
man.
say things I said that I never said. You know. It's funny when I know like you and the boys are hanging out or any of the lads are hanging out in the UK. I know that you guys, even if I'm not there, they're talking to each other in a Tyler voice. I know it. I know that they're like, "Hey man," like every
It's
5
literally
seconds.
like the default
Yeah,
of how
it's
we
not even,
greet
and you
each
don't
other.
You don't do it maliciously. You don't even do it like
Knowingly.
consciously.
Yeah.
You unconsciously talk in your impression of me in that
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, specifically my impression of you. Yeah.
Like if
It's
you
not even
see,
like you.
if you saw Toby, first thing he would, "Hey man," he would say that 100%.
That
I
is
know
absolutely true. That is absolutely
Benjamin
true.
Parker, 100%
Oh,
dropping a "Hey
God.
man," you know,
So good.
and probably a dab, you know, at some
Oh
point.
man,
Like
good shit.
it's just bizarre. Yeah, we've got a long history, and it's,
We sure do.
crazy. I'm very interested to see what the reaction to the week has been, and you know, I hope everyone's enjoyed the reunion, the week of content, and feeling like they've traveled back in time a little bit. And you know, I love reading the comments and hearing the stories of people and their journey with the show and with us, and may it continue. Long may it continue. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think like people's sort of relationship to what we like the show and everything, and Four Pillars in general is like for us, it's a big part of our like like going from teenagers to adults. Like it's a big sort of period of our lives. But for a lot of people listening, like it was their childhood. You know, a lot of people would get home from school, listen to the newest As Always, or throw on one of our like speculation videos, and like they remember that from when they were like 11, 12, 13. And so like when we get back together and we do these things, to a lot of people it's like they see it and they're like, oh fuck yeah, like it's getting to revisit a time when you had like no responsibilities or obligations. It's just like, man, it just feels good. Probably makes you feel good,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I feel like
me
that's,
too.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we just watched that. I'm like, man, we sound so innocent. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, no responsibilities. And now it's just like the fucking weight of the world's on our shoulders every day.
Oh,
it's just
man.
like crushing.
It is very crushing. It is a large weight. It's like a hydraulic press, I would say, actually.
Yeah. Like, honestly, growing up, worst thing ever.
Yeah, don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
Just
Never
stay-
grow up.
Stay gaming. I can't believe I said that on camera. Even
Stay
that was
gaming,
ironically.
guys.
Stay gaming.
Guys, you gotta stay gaming.
Stay gaming. Don't touch grass. All the advice I've given over the years, don't take it.
Don't touch the improved
I was
grass.
wrong. I was wrong. Yeah, do not touch the improved grass. It's not improved. You know when they say the grass isn't always greener? That's literally what they mean.
Yeah,
This is like
it's never
exactly
greener.
what they mean.
It's always
it's
more
never
dull.
greener. Yeah, BPR
More
was
and more
wrong.
dull.
It's not
Yeah.
improved. It's not improved grass.
No, it's absolutely not.
So many random niche references.
God,
There's going to be people listening that don't get it. Like when we're just like, we know what we mean when we're like, well, like the 2016, 2017 era. Like we could picture the videos we're doing. People are like, what? Can you expand on that? What the fuck does that mean?
like a mood board in your head. Like I don't know if that happens for everyone else,
I
but it does for
I
me.
think of like thumbnails.
Yeah.
It
It's
pop
like
into
all in
my
my
head.
head. The font I
Yeah.
used, the sort of like
Yes.
general style of like the Kilconnor Club logo at the time and stuff. I'm like, yep,
agreed.
I remember
I
that.
can look at those thumbnails of the episodes, and it just all comes flooding back to me.
Yeah, that 2017 Kilconnor Club thumbnail is not the best one we've ever had, but it's probably my favorite. I love looking at it. It's so smooth.
I get it. I agree.
And clean.
Yep.
I love that artwork too.
Yeah,
Like,
it was good. It was good.
It
we had
wasn't
some
even
good
the best
episodes.
one. Like it was not the best artwork.
I think 2020 was the best when we first went to As Always podcast.
Let me have a look at that one. Oh yeah, I like that one a lot.
I
like
think that was.
2021.
I think 2020 was the peak. I actually didn't like 2021. It's like one of my least favorite ones.
I liked my one that year. I didn't like.
Oh, actually,
my
2021 was.
2022 one that
Sorry,
much.
no, you're right. 2021 was okay. Didn't love, but it was okay. Yeah, 2022. I'm with you. It was probably maybe one of our weaker ones. I felt like 2020. Oh, actually no, 2022, the last one. even in the last one.
Yeah.
I really like that for me.
I like it. I think I prefer 2021.
Oh, okay.
Because
See,
I like
didn't
the way the guns are up, like crossed over. Like I
Right,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I like 2022. Yeah, no, 2021 was my least favorite for me. But 2020, I think, is the peak for both of us. I think 2020 was the best thumbnail art, the best.
I also love the redesign
it's the
of
peak
my
of the
outfit.
show as well.
The Halloween dude. I love how that fucking looks, and I've still that's what I've still got. Like, because I liked how it looks. So the artwork that I got the fucking Monroe to do is based on that design. Because I just loved how it looked.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, we've come a long way. Yeah. And long may it continue. Well, I hope everyone listening, everyone watching has enjoyed this reunion, this week of content, and hope to read some comments of people sharing some memories and just having a great time. So thank you everyone for the 10 years of a journey of support, of friendship, James, and to all our other friends that we've made and that are a part of us, of everything from people we make content with to people that we've just made, lifelong friendships with. So thank you everyone. Hope this week's been a good celebration for you guys as much as it was for us, and we'll see you in the next thing we do together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll always come back. We got 4 Pillars, we got Clubhouse. Those will keep happening. So,
And you and I still have another thing to record. So we're not done just yet. This is the
true.
last thing we're doing.
Yeah, true.
Probably should have been
For
the
us.
last thing we're doing, and then we'd be crying. But
Yeah, true. But no, now we'll just cry playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Really gay. Pretty gay, man. Pretty gay.
It's one of the gayest things you can do.
To cry about Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
Might say that's my whole career.
Yeah,
actually.
might say it. Yeah, both of us. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. On that, thank you for the support, and we will see you next time. Goodbye,
See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it here. So thanks to both of you guys for joining me on this. Hope we'll do another one like this soon.
Definitely.
Is there anything you want to say?
Thanks for watching, guys,
Yeah.
and thanks for having me on, Lasers. This was a blast.